Alright guys, I'm Lark Wyll, and this video is going to be talking about the arena meta currently running in Marvel Strike Force. So it's kind of evolved quite a bit, and I think it's the fun part of arena, the most fun we've had in quite some time now. The team that I'm going to be running is a 651k Hela, Zemo, Emma up front. In the back, I'm running Ebony Maw and Surfer. The order you put them in, I don't think necessarily really matters. Hela's a little bit lighter. She doesn't have the massive kit stats as some of these other characters. Ebony Maw and Emma and Surfer are a little bit thicker, even though they're not tanks. So I'm going to launch the fight. I'll show you who I'm fighting. The team that I'm fighting is a really strong kind of meta team. It's a Kestrel, Surfer, Doom version. I do have Doom, but I only have him at the first pass of DD4, not the fully built 7 yellow, I think 4 red version. So mine's a little bit lighter. So I'm not yet using them in arena. So this video is going to help folks, hopefully, and hopefully this is a good showing here, counter this team. And actually, I didn't realize he was running Red Guardian. That's not the team that I'm normally playing versus. Normally it's a Surfer version, but he's dropped Surfer in favor of the RNG of Red Guardian. So in this case, since he's already had his emo go, his emo went first, and I got lucky and resisted. I'm going to work over here on, I'll put the vulnerability on their Kestrel, and she actually has a way of, I'm going to save her. Gosh, do I want to save that? Now I'm kind of like going back and forth. I prefer my Emma to go second, but she's going first this time. I should have probably just cleansed my slows, but I'm going to ability block Emma for 2 turns. And usually I'm playing the version that has Silver Surfer instead of Red Guardian. And the 2 characters I'm mainly trying to control with ability blocks to start the fight off are Doom. I mainly want to get the slow on Doom more than I care about the ability block in the first pass. And then after that, I'm really focused on getting the ability block on Emma. And then spread off of Emma or spread onto Doom. Usually you're going to get 2 turns of that going and then work from there. So this is a pretty clean fight, guys. You're going to see I'm going to win this one pretty easily. The only thing that could really shake this one up here is if their Red Guardian rejected the Zemo strip to begin the fight. And but that's pretty much it. So this fight was really clean. A lot of people are saying, hey, don't bring in Hela against Kestrel in arena, because Kestrel does prevent the Greg from respawning. But what I'm going to propose here in this video is it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because Greg wasn't the reason why you're bringing in Hela to the arena fight to begin with. So it's added value to have Greg, but it's not critical that Greg's there. This is actually the comp over here with Zappa Prime guys that I'm normally running or seeing in my arena. A lot of folks are running this exact comp. I think that's what you're seeing going around quite a bit. Kestrel, Emma, Doom, Silver Surfer, and Zemo. And you know, Zemo puts out early burst damage. If he ability blocks the right target, he can kind of throw a wrench in the works for you. I'm using a very similar team, except for no Kestrel, no Doom. I'm running Ebony Maw and Hela. So the reason why you want Hela, again, isn't Greg. So I know a lot of people are saying, hey, Hela's lost value because Kestrel counters cloners, summoners, and that. And that's correct. She does reduce a little bit of Hela's value, but she doesn't reduce Hela's kit like she does with Phoenix, preventing Dark Phoenix, or Doom being able to summon bots, or Mr. Sinister from cloning somebody. That's a hard counter. Kestrel is more of a soft counter to a portion, a very small portion of Hela's kit. I wouldn't say very small, a small portion of Hela's kit. It's not the critical piece. The critical piece is the ability block spread. That's why you bring in Hela to arena if you're not running Doom. So, and you're really only using it as an arena attack team for endgame players, guys. And you can see, I forgot what power he was running. Maybe I can see if I can find him. I think that was Seal. I think is a similar powered team. I've seen some 700k teams. I beat those too. But I think he was running 650. Okay, so he was a little stronger, and actually that's not his team because he had Red Guardian instead of Hela. This is his attack team, apparently. But yeah, he was running a red guardian there, and then Kestrel instead of sulfur, which is interesting. He's not running Kestrel on offense because he has a big one. But the general purpose of what you guys are going to go for in arena, guys, is if you don't have Doom and you don't have a huge Kestrel, you can still beat these teams with very large Dooms and very large Kestrels. But you want to bring in Hela for the ability block spread. You want to bring in Zemo to land an initial ability block. And actually, he's very, very helpful to get slows out on Doom and other characters to allow you to set the table and then do some other things. And once you put slows and he chains around, he's very helpful. A counter to Zemo actually in Arena, if you guys want to run it and think about it on defense, is running the Bishop Jubilee combo. I actually suggested this to GB. It's still beatable as well. I beat this team. I do find it difficult to beat if you have, especially if you have a very large Bishop and a large Jubilee. Specifically Bishop. He's like one of the biggest tanks in the game, and he's a flippin' blaster. He's very strong, and the reason why he works so well is that he taunts and counters off Zemo. So as soon as Zemo takes his turn one ability, Bishop always has taunt up. And then even if the defending team has Zemo, you're going to have to attack into Bishop. Bishop is going to counterattack as soon as he's hit, and that prevents your Zemo from chaining to all of the members and applying a slow, hopefully, on their Doctor Doom. That's usually what you're going for, and you want to get a slow over on their Surfer, Kestrel, as many people as you can. You want your Zemo just to ping pong around and chain a lot. It looks like Seal just hopped up again already, so he made an attack and went back up. So you can see he just slid into ninth place. Man, I'm in a very active shard. It is, what time do we got? It is 45 minutes till payout, but people are jockeying, and you really try to avoid falling to that 15 to 20 range, because at that kind of range you really start getting pulled into the abyss, because in the 20s and 30s they start being able to attack you. Like, everyone is just clawing at each other, and the closer you can stay into the top 10, the less movement there is, and the shorter the falls are. So yeah, that's why everyone's trying to jockey to stay up above and keep their head above water in the arena. But anyways, so some general tips, guys. It doesn't matter that Hela, the main reason I was posting this video is because I think there's some misconceptions as to why Hela is so good in the current meta of Arena. Hela is not great in countering Black Order. I wouldn't bring her to use this team. I just use my Black Order or one of the the 5 other teams that reliably counter this. I have a 700 plus K Black Order myself. If I really want to, I think Morph might be the last one running bow, to be honest, of the top players in my shard. But regardless, if you're going to try to counter any of the Doom teams, Hela's very integral to those. You don't have to have her, but if you don't have a huge Kestrel, like most of the players in my shard do. I didn't buy Kestrel. I was trying to slow down on spending. I spent way too much on Surfer, and there's not really any new game content in the game. So I'm kind of like, if it wasn't for Surfer, guys, I probably would be like no spending for the most part. I'm probably going to buy Heroes for Hire, and then I'm probably going to take a couple steps back. I'll fill that team out, and then I'm just going to pause. But that's a different video. But for Kestrel, she's an awesome character. I'm not trying to take anything away from her. If she's not the best character, she's the second best character in the game. I agree with it, what everyone else is saying. She's excellent. I do think they ramped up her kit so much because she is like their baby, Scopely or Boundless. They created her. They introduced her to the game. She's not tied to Marvel. They couldn't sell her unless she had an OP kit, so they made her OP to make her relevant, because otherwise we don't care about her. And I actually think they did great. I do think she's a little bit like of a clone to other games. That's fine. I don't really care. But I like the modeling. I don't think she looks like other characters in this game, so I think she stands out or is a unique kind of profile. She has nice art. I do think they made her counter too many kits, like us stating. She really hard negates Sinister and Phoenix. You just can't run those characters versus Kestrel. You kind of have to like hide them away from Kestrel, which is an interesting meta. And I don't mind Kestrel coming to the game. I thought it was interesting timing right off the back of Surfer. They didn't really and Doctor Doom. They didn't let Doctor Doom breathe. They didn't let Surfer breathe, and immediately Kestrel. So it's like they didn't double down or like elevate, but it's just it's really, I think, overshadowing. Like we're spending so much, players have spent so much money trying to get declared Dark Dimension 4 to get Doctor Doom, and I do think the best, honestly, if I was going to say it, the best thing about Doom is he looks amazing. Doctor Doom's look in the game is fantastic. He looks badass. I love it. But that's about it. Like he's good. He's a strong character. He's a top 5 character probably in the game, top 10 for sure. But he's already like a step down ladder. Surfer and Kestrel are going to be tier 1, and tier 2 is going to be a Doom. And there's going to be a lot of tiers now. There's a huge separation. He's still meta. He's still very good in the game in multiple modes, but he's not game breaking like Ultron was when he was released. And this video isn't to talk so much about that. You guys have heard this in other sources, but the main thing you want to do, because the main advantage you have if you don't have a huge Doom, if you don't have a huge Kestrel or even a huge Surfer does help, is to use Hela to do an ability block spread. That's currently the meta if you don't have those characters. A lot of folks aren't running Hela on offense. They're using their big Kestrels and big Doctor Dooms to counter everybody else. And I'm sure that works really well too. But if you don't have those characters, guys, there's still ways to beat these teams. But you might have to use some older characters. And again, don't forget why you're bringing certain characters in. And just because Kestrel, again, prevents Greg from respawning, and then that 10% turn meter reduction past the initial time, it's okay. It doesn't matter. The main reason why you're bringing Hela is she has one job: spread that ability block on turn 1 after Surfer applies it for 2 rounds on somebody, and then she's gonna spread that around to the whole team. And that's the deal. She can die at that point. It doesn't matter. You don't need Greg to die 4 more times of the fight to beat these teams. She has one job and one job only. As long as she's doing that job, she's worth her spot as an arena attacking toon. So just some tips, because I am currently working on Kestrel, but I didn't buy her, and I've got her about somewhere around 70, 80k power. I'm slowly working her up. But I didn't buy any of her offers. She's definitely worth buying, guys, but I'm just kind of somewhat tapering down spending. Not really, but trying to. And honestly, guys, I don't think the game right now is worth the amount of money. They're just keep on. I guess I don't want to tangent too far. This is a different video, guys, but in the game, my opinion is like the only thing they have for us is just to sell us, keep on ramping up new characters that are better than the last ones, to sell us. To keep us spending on the game, because there's no new game modes, guys, and there's probably not going to be new game modes for probably about 6 to 12 months from the sound of it. It sounded like they weren't going to be ready to release anything until 2022 from when Cerebro last spoke about that. Like he was saying maybe fall, but it was a very like maybe about most likely 2022 or first quarter, second quarter. And we've seen from previous releases when they released PvP and RTA, they're not fleshed out. It's very rushed. They don't have a plan. So based upon their trajectory and how slow they are at other things, guys, really the only thing they have to do is keep creating new characters and making them stronger and stronger, so we keep buying them. But there's no new game modes to use these characters in. So it's just every time you buy a new character, you're throwing away at least one or a full team of old ones that the new characters are negating. So and the power creep is just unreal. So at this level, I don't believe that all the new characters are going to be at this level, but you do have to craft your team wisely to counter these ones. And I think this is a very good arena team. And the ones that you saw before, not the Red Guardian, he's okay. But the Silver Surfer is superior to Red Guardian. And that's a very strong arena defense is using that. Anything with RNG, I think RNG has a lot to do with defense, both in war and in arena. Anytime you can introduce any element of RNG that will give you like a 20 or 40% win rate, that's good, because none of these defenses are holding at 60% plus. They're all losing at either like 80 to 90% of the time. Even though they look really strong, everyone in your group is going to have similar ones. So don't be afraid of introducing a strong team, but with an element of RNG. And then oftentimes, like if people know, okay, there's a chance that I can lose this fight versus this player, but I can reliably beat this other player who doesn't have any RNG. It's a very straightforward match, and I win it 100% of the time. Oftentimes, even though like you're their max leap forward, like say, I want to get from 10 to 6. That's the furthest I could go up, to like Kid Jester here. And like say, well, it's not a good example because he has bow and I can reliably beat this. But you guys get the hint. What I'm getting at is if this team was like this GB4 GG's team, is that and then there was a bow like in 8th or 7th, I might attack this black order if it wasn't my max punch up or a leap forward in favor of an easier match that I can reliably win and doesn't have that RNG element. And not, I usually just go for whatever because I think I can beat everything, but some players don't think that way and they don't want to core for attacks in the arena. So if there's a chance they can lose versus you, they'll opt for somebody else. So you guys get it. But again, guys, just to show you again what I'm running, this is my attack team versus the Kestrel Surfer. So if I run into, is anybody running it here? This team here. So LB Ace. If I run into this team, which is very common in most arena shards that are endgame right now, Doom, Surfer, Kestrel, Zemo, and Emma. If you run into that team or this team, basically any variation right now, there's other teams that can beat it that you can use. But if you don't, of course, but if you don't have Kestrel, specifically if you don't have Kestrel built up to max, this is an option of a team that you can run reliably to beat those teams. And it helps Kestrel, Surfer, and Zemo have so much front-loaded offensive power. Ebony Maw being able to throw up those defense ups and get some offense down to the opponents is really helpful in surviving that initial barrage. And then when if players start going back more to the more cleanse and support with Invisible Woman, Squirrel Girl, Emma, and that cleanse comp that we saw before, at that point you don't need Ebony Maw. You're probably going to go for more single target burst damage. You can bring in X23 or Black Bolt and just focus on Doom and Emma. But versus the initial burst, Ebony Maw is kind of a forgotten about superstar, and he's going to really help you out. He has a pretty decent speed. He's not as fast as Zemo or and those characters, of course, but he does help out. He can help you kind of get Silver Surfer speed ramped up and make sure that Hela survives until she can use her ability block spread. And again, Greg does not matter in this matchup. He's actually very helpful because he's going to die one time, 10% turn meter reduction for the opposing team, which makes sure that your Hela is going to go before their Emma and your Surfer goes before their Surfer, and you start to get turn meter advantage. So even though he's not going to respawn, dying once, that's all he needs to do is just give you that little bit of speed difference is still so important. You don't have to bring another character like Cable to get that advantage. Greg dying that one time, even when they have Kestrel, is still very significant in helping you get the turn meter and speed kind of advantage to control the fight. So I've played with a lot of different ones, guys, and this isn't an optimal attack team. Kestrel will be superior, I think, than to something else. I'd probably drop either Hela or Ebony Maw. But since I don't have Kestrel built up for Arena, this is a different kind of team they can use with your existing roster that most players that are in game have already built up and heavily invested in. You can slide him in here as a placeholder, and you can do very, very well while you're building up the new hotness, Kestrel. If you don't have Surfer, guys, I'd have to think on that. I haven't thought about or played around too much with non-Surfer comps. Surfer's my favorite Marvel character outside of Marvel Strike Force, guys. So I spent on him more than any other character I can remember. I didn't buy, the only offer I haven't bought for Surfer that I've seen is, I haven't been watching the offers the last few days, but the only one that I know of that I haven't bought is that $60 for 50 shard one. That one I passed on. I thought that was just a really bad valuation, so I passed on that $60 for 50 shard offer, but I bought all the $20 offers for him that I've seen. And hopefully through the next milestones, I can get him to 6 stars, 6 yellows. But this is kind of where I have him right now, guys. 5 yellow, 5 red. He completely holds his own in arena. He's only going to get stronger. Hopefully you guys are in a alliance that's doing well in raids. I think for most endgame players now, hitting 60% of the Doom raid is very realistic daily. It's not overly difficult anymore as long as your alliance was somewhat investing their resources from DD4 completions into at least half of the raid characters to really help you perform better in some of those trait required sections. But he's an important character, guys, and so is Kestrel. It's splitting hairs as to which one's better. I agree with everyone else's comments as to um, when they're better or worse, but that's some general tips for arena guys. And just to go back, I'll show you my team, and I'll end this video pretty quickly, guys. But if you're not familiar with why these characters, guys, so why is Zemos relevant in arena? He's very fast. He's one of the fastest characters on turn one. And a lot of times it's if the opposing defending team has an Azemo as well, it's, coin flip as to which one goes first. Because usually both teams are also bringing in Emma, so it's a wash on the turn meter reduction. And Cable is not really arena viable that I've seen. Let me put it this way: most players don't have a 6 or 7 red star Cable, and just him all the way to tier 15. So he's less common or popular, at least in my shard. I'm not saying he wouldn't be helpful. I'm sure he would, but very few players even have him. So I'm not sure if that's even been tested. Remex might be a good source to tell you. I know he's great in RTA, but I don't know if he would help be a deciding factor in arena within the arena meta. Could be. But anyways, Zemo's very helpful to go very fast, just like an RTA. Put out a good amount of damage to AoE. All the AoE turn 1 abilities, guys, in this game are getting out of hand. Hela's an old character. Zemo's somewhat starting to get aged, even though his kit's not aged. I mean, he's been in the game for 5 to 6 months now. And there's just a lot of turn 1, hit everybody for a lot of damage abilities. And the more and more they release these, especially when they have these super high speeds, eventually we're just going to have a full comp of just speed demons that hit everybody for massive damage. It doesn't matter what Doom does. Just get one ability block on him and nuke everybody else. That's what we're kind of building towards, in my opinion, with Surfer 2. Surfer hits everybody. Hela hits everybody. Zemo hits everybody. Add 2 more here, especially one that gives more speed up, and GG, that's arena. Until there's some other on spawn, give the full defensive team, your team, like 30% barrier. You need something like that, and that's going to come at some point, guys. Is more of a defensive, kit that works on spawn faster than Zemo, and that'll change things. Granting immunities just as much as you can to prevent Zemo. But Zemo clearing all buffs is so important, and the reason why is it's not a war only ability. A lot of us time we think about these war characters as only performing things in war, but he still strips buffs very reliably at 5 red stars and higher in arena. So he's very helpful, like you guys saw earlier, on stripping Red Guardian and things like that. And he can help you do that. And the main thing also that's undervalued isn't even just the turn 1 ability block, it's that he chains and slows everybody down. And again, that's very helpful to give your, again, this game, it's a turn meter game, guys. Like the more turns you can take and the faster you can take them than your opponents, especially in mirror matches when you're using a lot of the same characters, Zemo, Emma, Surfer, it's important. And you want to slow down their Doctor Doom, who's their ticking time bomb, usually on round 2. So he's a very critical piece in the arena meta right now, especially on offense to counter Doom. I'm sure that'll change over time, guys, with more team synergies. The only synergy this team really has, guys, is ability blockers and the spread from Hela. That's pretty much it. It's like the old Wombo combo. And at some point that'll be taken away. Hela, again, guys, if anything's going to take her out of the arena meta right now, it's going to be a Heroes for Hire type team, but that's meant for arena. It functions in arena, not on war defense. And that would probably pull Hela out of the arena meta. The other thing that really is hurting Hela in the future is that she's not scaling well from a health pool and defensive standpoint. Characters like Bishop, Surfer, Kestrel have much higher health pools and are much more resilient. She's more of a true glass cannon, old school blaster. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's just what's going to push her out of the meta is that there's going to be too much early onslaught damage with new characters coming out. And if she starts taking too much damage early on, you're really going to probably have to have a 7 red star Hela to keep her here. At some point, there's going to be too much kind of bursty damage before she takes her first turn and can do the combo. And then that would, relegate her to the bench. She wouldn't be in the arena meta anymore because she can't survive the initial onslaught before she takes her turn 1. And if that's the case, then you either have to build her up more or look for other options. But right now, she's surviving. She's doing well. I try not to put her in the middle because I don't want her taking too much kind of like wing shots. Zemo, I put in the middle because once he does his first turn, he's very quick to do it. I don't care about him. So I kind of want him to absorb as much damage as possible. Hela's very important. She gets to her turn 1. and then I kind of have the base spawn relevance. I do like Emma's kit later in the match if she can get to her blind and positive buff clear to put on opponents. Very nice to have for turn 2 ability. So that's why I have her over here. Ebony Maw is pretty healthy, even though he doesn't look, he's pretty thin, but he's very sturdy, especially if you have high red stars on him. I think I bought him up to 6, 7 yellows, 6 reds, and he actually can survive quite a bit. What hurts him is if he's able to get ability blocked and then he just gets focused fired, you can burn him down. But if he's able to get his turn 1 defense up and offense down on the opponents, he's really sturdy at that point. And obviously it helps, but his base health pool plus that keeps him alive. And then Surfer is going to heal. You guys know how he works. He's going to heal quite a bit. So I don't mind him being in the middle. You don't need to keep him on the sides. You can put him over there if you want to. The other reason why this works so well, guys, is a lot of times this specific comp, like Hella will get ability blocked by the opposing Zemo or Surfer, like quite often when I'm using this match. But what's so brilliant about it is Emma typically goes, especially if say Zemo attacks your Hella, Zemo's going to ability block her and slow her, which then makes your Emma go before your Hella. So if Zemo does not attack her, I think Hella goes before your Emma. But if Zemo does slow your Hella and ability to block her, your Emma on the other side, you want to keep them far apart from each other so they're not both slowed. And then your Emma over here will cleanse before your Hella goes, cleanse the ability block, and then allow her to do the Wombo combo. What I would not do is put Hella and Emma right next to each other because you don't want them both to be slowed. You want one to go before the other. And if Emma gets ability blocked on turn 1, it's okay. You can still do your Wombo. That's your win condition. If Hella gets ability blocked and slowed, Emma's going to cleanse it, and then she can still Wombo. So that's kind of the intention here, guys, and also why I have them placed like this way. The middle 3, they're all interchangeable. You can place them anywhere you want. But I do think the best positioning in this attack team, again, if you don't have Kestrel, try this out. And then put Emma and Hella on the ends. It doesn't matter which end, just, either way. But I think that's the only placement that really matters. But again, guys, this is an optimal arena attack team. This is a team for players like myself who don't have Kestrel. Just to wrap it up, and hopefully this helps you out. If you don't have Surfer, let me know in comments, and maybe I can think of a team that might be suitable for you. That'll also work, but I have to do some play testing. But hope this helps you guys out, and that's the vid. See ya.